crab pot earrings. Get your crab pot earrings. I came all the way to Peru to finish an idea I started on a crab boat 3 years ago. I'm a crabber, and day after day, month after month, I'd haul gear, dump crab pots, sort crabs, and look at those crab pots, thinking, you know what? These could become something beautiful. Crab pots are made of steel and wire. A friend of mine told me that Peruvians are the best wire artisans in the world. So I took what was left of my savings and traveled to Peru by myself to find the perfect artisans. My dad always says life is like poker. If you don't want to get blinded out, you've got to make a big move. This is my big move. I got food poisoning a couple days ago, so I was totally down and out yesterday. I literally questioned myself every day if I'm crazy. When I first got to Lima, everything seemed huge and confusing. I didn't know where to go to find the artisans that I needed, but I talked to everybody and anybody who would listen. One of the first people that I talked to was Marco. He worked at the pizzeria that was right next to my hotel. He sat down with me one morning at breakfast and listened to my crazy crab pot earring idea. He gave me a couple of tips on where I could go and where I might be able to find these artisans. And then there was Ricardo. He was a taxi driver. He also gave me some tips on where I could possibly go to find what I was looking for. All of a sudden, 2 weeks had gone by, and I had barely filmed anything. I'd been running around Lima, trying to get my teeth cleaned in the process because I don't have dental insurance. By the way, it's only $60 for a cleaning. So all of the crab pots are made out of steel and wire. I'm looking at these crab pots for months and years on end, and I'm looking at the wire. I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm making the videos and I want to have something cool to sell, like a product that goes along with my videos that represents me, something I think is really cool, and it'll help me make some money for the videos. Everybody's got to have their thing to sell. You got to be bringing in the money to be able to make more videos and live your life with passion, right? Live your dreams. So I heard from my ex, who used to work with wire, that the best wire workers he's ever seen were the Peruvians. They're wonderful with wire wrapping. Wire wrapping is a technique that they use in jewelry making by wrapping metal wire around itself. So let's just go ahead and jump and let's go to Peru. I speak Spanish, so, you know, I got that going for me. Son trampas de cangrejo, they're crab pots.
Trampas de cangrejo,
Porque soy pescadora.
porque eres una pescadora de mar,
De cangrejo.
de cangrejos.
I've been on the hunt, you know, I've been on the hunt. Oh, this bridge is cool. I'm gonna check the sound. Make sure I'm not mute. And I thought to myself, you know what? Always the capital has more people. People want to come to the capital to sell stuff. I'm gonna go to the capital. I can also find out about exporting and taxes and different ways of logistics to get the goods to market, so to say. Long story short, found some people that were semi-interested in making these crab pot earrings. And oddly enough, I found this woman one day and she, you know, thought my idea was interesting and, you know, who the hell comes down to Peru for crab pot earrings? No one, because crab pot earrings don't exist yet, but they will, hopefully. She says, you know what, most people are gonna tell you that they're gonna do it, that they're gonna work on a sample for you and that they're interested in the project. A lot of people will tell you they're interested and they won't do it. But Latin Americans are kind of famous for mañana, mañana. And sometimes mañana comes and sometimes mañana never comes, you know? Actually, one lady told me about that. She's like, you need to find a jeweler. And of course, it just makes all the sense in the world, but I just never associated crab pot earrings with a jeweler. Okay, so finally get hip to that trick. You gotta know what you're looking for before you can actually find it. Imagine that. I basically met a ton of artisans that did exactly what that lady said they were gonna do. They feigned interest, maybe they even half meant it, but each and every one of them flaked out at the last second. I had even spent a week waiting on a sample, but checking out other stuff in the meantime. Whoa, look how huge these dogs are. Whoa. His balls are huge. Oh my God. We're focusing. So yeah, I've just been hitting the pavement, trying to talk to artists, going into the center, trying to talk to cab drivers, just anybody and everybody that I can talk to about this project. And then there have been some nights where it's like, Brooke Cottrell, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? You're down here in Peru looking to make earrings. I'm like, you know what? It's always been a dream of mine, so if nobody else understands it, I guess I'm okay with that as long as I tried my best. So today, I'm checking out of my my Airbnb, my 1-bedroom, made friends with some of the taxistas, said hello, got to know about some of the haps here in Lima, like don't go downtown. Don't go downtown on Wednesday. It's gonna be dangerous. There's gonna be a lot of riots. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, they're fighting for this in the union and they want better this and they want better that, so don't go downtown on Wednesday or afterwards. And I'm like, okay, good to know. I'll go on Monday. Found some stuff in the center, was able to talk to people, but they were more like distributors in the center. And I go by this little theater, little teatro. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I said, you know, what's your show tonight? And he's like, well, it's kind of like a burlesque cabaret show. And I'm like, I just remember thinking, you know what, it's Friday night and I'd like to experience some culture. I'd like to not go back to my room and go to bed early tonight. Let's do something while we're here, take advantage. So we're watching the teatro, and very quickly I realized that the women are not really wearing any clothes. Their asses are hanging out. They're basically in these push-up bras. I'm like, I was not expecting this. Okay. And, you know, it's fine to do a half-naked show for sure, but you can only hold my attention for so long with tits and ass, you know? I got tits, I got an ass. If I wanted tits and ass, I'll stay at home and look at myself in the mirror and do a little dance. People keep looking at me like I'm crazy recording this video. And buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
And I'm okay with that. You know, just to be completely honest, I might cut this out or I might leave it in if I really want to be truthful. But, you know, as you're starting your own business and as you're moving along and things are moving along slowly, I'm getting to the point where the savings is getting down there, you know? Had a little freak out the other day, started spiraling. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Are you doing anything? You know, I'm a hard worker, you know? So like putting so much energy into a business that is not making me any money, that's probably like the hardest thing, because when you make money at a job, that's basically the job telling you, good job. The work that you're doing matters. Here's some money. I'm gonna put it out into the universe. I'm gonna find the perfect artists to help me with this crab pot earring project, and that everybody who thinks that my crab pot earrings are just as cool as I do, they'll be hip to buying them and supporting the channel, supporting the art. I was a little paranoid that people would steal my idea. So I was going around talking to all these artists about my crab pot earrings, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if they steal my idea? Which is kind of funny because paranoia goes along with crabbing, you know? Did they pick our pots? Was somebody here? Did they do this? Where is it? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm having paranoia over crab pots. This is part of the crabbing trade. You know, I was just getting disheartened the other day and I just started laughing at myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, if somebody wants to steal my idea, you should go right ahead. Because this is hard enough for me and I have the gusto and the passion and the willingness and ability to do it. And I want to quit. Yeah, just these moments of self-doubt, you know? I don't have time to worry, says my book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Just know that it's gonna go well. I'm gonna give myself a few more weeks to put this project together, and then I'm gonna get my little white ass home to the United States and try to be making some money. So, you know, where we go from here, I don't know. Brooke, you're watching this right now. Somewhere in the future. How did it go? Did it go well for us? Are we still alive? Do we have like crab pot earring stores everywhere? Are we on another boat? Are we on our boat? Oh, that'd be cool. I hope that I have this awesome line of crab pot earrings for you. And then they also said they could make silver crab pot earrings. I'm like, whoa, that just blew my little mind. Silver crab pot earrings, oh my God. During my stay, I learned that there's a little town where they specialize in this type of filigree art. So I packed up my backpack and jumped on a plane to follow the lead. I ended up telling my cab driver on the way to the airport that I was traveling alone and that no one was waiting for me on the other side. I got to the airport and I was literally pretty freaked out. But I went out to the parking lot, made sure that it didn't look like the mafia was outside, and I carefully got a cab. All right, this is it. I gotta call my friend and tell her I made it safely. Hopefully there's intranet. Whoa, that is a very squishy bed. I only rented this for a couple nights, so worst case scenario. As my mom always said, worst case scenario. All right, so far I was looking at everybody, seeing if they were following me here, and it didn't appear to be that they were following me anywhere. So far so good. I guess I'm gonna get out, have some lunch, and see the town a little bit. change my clothes. See what we got for a view up here. So that'll be kind of cool. All right, one day at a time. I gotta keep focused on the fact I'm here for a reason. I'm gonna have somebody make me earrings. Oh my gosh, isn't that nuts? All right, one day at a time. One day at a time. My friend tells me that I look like I don't have any money, so I should be fine. I'm like, thanks. That's totally the look I'm going for. Thanks a lot. Thanks for confirming that it's working, Anne. Oh my gosh, this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, Operation Earrings Day 1. Oh my God. We're not in Kansas anymore. During the first few days, it was pretty much the same drill as Lima. I walked around a lot, I talked to people, I asked about the artisans, I ate cheaply, I lived cheaply. I found this guy right here that another guy at a church had actually told me about. Check out this really cool silver peacock that he made for a customer. He says it's 99.9% silver. I asked him if he would make me a sample crab pot, and he said he would. I finally came across an artisan that worked so close to where I was staying, it's insane. We had actually met a few different times, and we've been finalizing the details of the sample, but on this day in particular, I was not up to meeting. Man, I got food poisoning, and I was in the bathroom all night, and then I've been in the bathroom this morning, and I think that's like the worst part about traveling. When you're just like so exhausted, and at least I don't have to leave my room. But I was talking to ChatGPT about everything I could get from the pharmacy. So I got some vitamin C soda crackers, and they're not the saltines from the US. Boo. It was like a salt sugar mixture so I can keep liquids down. I'm on the brat diet. I got my little banana. At least I have some internet and a bed and a bathroom, like so close. So I'm pretty exhausted today. I think I just really look forward to looking back on these days, you know? You're like, oh, look how hard I worked. Look how hard I tried to like make it work. And now life is so much better. Right? Right? God, I hope so. It will be. It will be. I remember looking at this view on the very day that I came in, just thinking, we're here, we're finally here, this is gonna be awesome. And now, just a few short days later, I don't think it's that awesome anymore. It's just been really hard living in a place where I only have one room and one bathroom. I have 2 towels, which, you know, you gotta have at least 3 towels. You have 1 towel on the floor, 1 towel that you dry yourself off with, and a hand towel, right? That's 3 towels minimum. I also have 2 pillows. I like 4 pillows. So, and they're kind of crappy pillows. So that's just for starters. I don't have a kitchen. I don't have, you know, any of the amenities. The roads are all torn up and it's all dusty everywhere. And there's just a lot of poverty. And it's really sad. It's just hard to be in that right now. Now I'm not really sure of where to eat. So I was trying to save money on food and kind of eat at these questionable places. And then I ate at the questionable places and got questionable food. So that sucked. Got the TD yesterday. Not cool. I did not know what TD was. Yeah, I'm just ready to go home, and I've met with the artisan a number of times now, and he's on like the 3rd sample or something. I have one of them working on a Christmas ornament. I have the other one working on a set of earrings. I literally question myself every day if I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? Is this totally ridiculous? Am I just gonna totally love that I stayed here like a year from now, 2 years from now? Will it even matter a year or 2 from now? But then I've been wanting to come here and make these crab pot earrings for a long time. So I'm like, man, we're all the way here. We spent the money, we spent the time, we talked to, you know, everyone and their mother to try to figure out where you can get these earrings made, and now we're finally here. You can't crap out on me and say that you need to go. That's what I'm telling myself. I posted a few pictures on Facebook, like me and one of the locals, me and my little friend downstairs. She's really cute. She has her wares to sell. That was a good moment. But the rest of the time, it's just, it hasn't been fun. I've just been on this mission to try to find people to make these crab pot earrings and try to make videos in the process and try to write up my notes in the process and try to, not go crazy with my life choices in the meantime. I feel like I can't film in town. I can't take my camera around town because then they'll know that I have a camera and what else do I have? And then I might be a target. I don't want to make myself a target. Yeah. So I still have a headache today from yesterday. My tummy's still pretty upset from yesterday, although I'm a lot better. I want to go home. So I was definitely having a hard time for a number of days. I actually spent Halloween just walking around the town by myself. Everyone looked like they were having a really good time, except for this little boy who was helping his dad make cotton candy for everybody who was in the town square. I decided I'd buy him a little bag of candy, and he had the biggest smile on his face when I gave it to him. That literally made my night. My mood started to definitely improve as we got closer to the finalized version of the crab pot earrings. I couldn't believe it. It all started to seem worth it. You're never going to believe how long it takes this artisan, who, by the way, has 30 years of experience, to finish these earrings. I found him, te encontré, sí. We're gonna see some of the process putting the crab pot earrings together. To start off with, he fills up his workstation with gasoline. Isn't that the best? You can definitely smell the gas fumes, that's for sure. First, he heats up this whole coil of metal so that it's easy to work with. Okay, here goes the foot action. Watch this. Then he starts moving his foot up and down to feed the gasoline into the torch. Then he takes a piece of the wire and wraps it around the wood. This is the very first piece of the crab pot. And see this green stuff right here? This is literally glue for metal. He's going to solder every single tiny piece of this crab pot. The first soldering happens right here. Look how zen he looks when he's doing it. Watching him work is so hypnotic. He literally is shaping this by hand. We started the process late in the evening, and shortly afterwards we stopped, but plan to continue the next day. Buenos dias.
Hola.
We're just getting the final samples done today while we have like one more to do. Originally, I thought that a red crab inside would be really cool, but we actually changed this design to a silver crab, as well as a few other things. Eres un artista de verdad, Luis. Remember that coil of metal? This is actually what's called the filigree. It's very thin strands of wire that he meticulously cuts and shapes into these diamond patterns. This will make the webbing of the crab pot. And remember that green stuff? It's actually tiny bits of metal that act like glue once heated so that all of the parts fit perfectly together. And then he continues and he adds tiny filigree diamonds and does it again and again and again until the crab pot top is perfect. Look at that. And don't forget about that foot. Every time the torch is going, the leg is also going. Kind of like working the crab block. Everything always works together. And don't forget about this little piece at the bottom. Remember, we said it was perfect. Now he gives it a light little hammering. And now it's time to do the width of the crab pot. This is actually a pretty similar process to the top. He makes the whole shape flat, and then he solders each post into place, and this acts as strength for the whole earring body. Now we are really cooking with gasoline. Next, go in all of the tiny filigree little diamonds, just like before. Flatten, flatten, solder, solder, and again, and again, and again. I actually asked Luis if he likes this process of working with tiny little detailed things. ¿Y te gusta?
Me gusta.
¿Te encanta?
Me encanta.
Me encanta que te encante.
Sí.
He fills in the rest little by little, bit by bit, and when he's finished, we're back to that wooden shaping tool. Look at him coil this whole thing into position. Today we're making a small pot and a large pot. Next comes soldering on the top. I'm actually going to take these back to the United States and use them as samples to show people and get a good read on what my first order should be. I just got acid all over my hands. Don't mess around with the silversmith stuff. Watch him grind and sand off any little imperfections. Here comes the little top of the earring hook. And then he puts the little crab in. Yay! Very,
Very,
very nice.
very nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
Before we can close the pot, he polishes each piece inside and out. Look at how cool this wheel is. And he keeps adding this green polish. Next, he's making the earring hooks. Look, every little tiny piece is made by hand. Even these little connectors right here. He actually makes these by hand too. Next, everything goes into a polishing bath. He actually adds baby shampoo. This is to ensure that the earrings turn out as sparkling as they could possibly be. We finished these earrings around 4:30 in the afternoon. That means that each pair of earrings literally takes a master all day to make one pair of earrings. ¿Te emocionan?
Sí.
Now that I'm almost out of money and I'm heading back to the US, I decided that I need to get on another crab boat for this upcoming winter season. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about this, honestly. I'm like, what did we get ourselves into, Brooke? What did we get ourselves into? And I'll be showing you what the first people think about our tiny little crab pots.
Don't cut towards yourself. Don't cut towards yourself.
That's coming up next week.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Te voy a extrañar, amiga.
Yo también te voy a extrañar mucho.
Muchas, sí. Out from Peru.